Jon Jones's latest comments don't veer away from his original position. He's not interested in fighting Tom Aspinall, so probably soon the UFC will announce another fight for Aspinall.
I think he's awesome, man. I think he's awesome. I think he should go on and have a wonderful career.
Do you think that he needs you?
No, I don't think he needs me. I think when you want something bad enough, and if you get it, it could be the worst thing that could ever happen to you. I'm in a spot right now where I'm really enjoying the fruits of my labor, all the hard work I put in. He's just not. He's not in a position. He's not in a position to like excite me. It's just the truth. Because if I whoop his ass, it's gonna be this. It's gonna be the next guy. There's gonna be a whole new fan base of somebody who everybody believes in. I've done this my whole adult life.
Jon Jones asked about retiring. I guess he doesn't want to say the word retire, but he's effectively retired because he sounds like he has no interest in fighting anymore.
I don't want to say that I'm retired because fighting's in my blood. Right now, I could really care less about fighting. I've been doing it my whole life at a very high level, and when the itch comes back, and if it comes back, then, then I'll do it with my whole heart. I'll do it to the best of my abilities. But right now, I look around and I realize what's true, what's real. I see the way people look at me and the way I make people feel, and it's an extraordinary thing. It's a true blessing. Now my job is to serve that, give that to my fans, be reachable, touchable, let them know what I have inside. That's who I am right now. I've punched and kicked enough people.
The noble thing would be to just vacate the belt and call it a day, but the UFC will probably just do that for him within a week and a half. By process of elimination, who Aspinall will fight? Well, I guess is the highest ranked guy on a win streak. That would be Cyril Gane. That'd be number 1 and number 2 in the division. It's a good fight, but there's just not a ton of hype behind it. Gane lost to Ngannou. Gane won his last fight against Volkov, but many people thought he should not have been awarded that decision. So it's a good fight, but there's not like a crazy amount of hype for it. The only crazy fight besides Aspinall versus Jones that they could do in the heavyweight is Aspinall versus Ngannou, but they're not going to make that happen. I was shocked to see Ngannou at UFC Atlanta supporting Kamaru Usman at the weigh-ins. That was surprising. I'm surprised they even let him in. Dana was not at that event, so I guess he slipped through the cracks. UFC discussing Rose Namajunas versus Alexa Grasso for UFC Noche on September 13th. No contracts yet, but Rose interested in this match. She's fresh off a win over Miranda Maverick, and she didn't sustain any injuries after that fight. And Natalia Silva beat Alexa Grasso in her last fight, but Grasso was uninjured afterwards, so they can do this fight between two former champions. Rose, a former champ, at 115, and at 125, a former champion is Alexa Grasso. Since Israel Adesanya was saying he finds Buckley annoying and he hates him because he finds him annoying, Buckley had a response for him, but it's just one of those things that's never going to materialize in the cage. Adesanya's at 185, Buckley's at 170. They're never going to fight, and even if they did, Adesanya would be a pretty huge favorite there.
Instead of being like a hoe, you all underneath the covers and shit like, man, I hate that nigga, sweet motherfucker. Because I don't know why you on my dick anyway. You ain't no real fighter. Little, you want to be a little pretty boy. You know what I'm saying?
Adesanya wants to fight Sean Strickland next. Joaquin Buckley has some interest in fighting Ian Gary. They're supposed to fight in the past, but it didn't materialize, so he wants to do, as he calls it, Buck versus Cock. Tim Kennedy and Brendan Schaub talking about fighter pay. Eddie Alvarez on that situation says, my first meeting with Lorenzo Fertitta before I entered the UFC, his biggest concern was getting fighters back into the cage after they made good money. If you pay them too much, they aren't cooperative, but if they're broke, they cooperate and do what they're told. For the UFC, the business model works perfect as long as fighters are broke. Tim Kennedy also mentions that guys sometimes start broke and fight, and then they still end up in the same situation afterwards.
He and the NFL are doing a way better job. I mean, watching the guys of our generation that came from nothing, some peasant in Brazil that just worked hard, had just enough money to go into a jiu-jitsu gym, then started filing jungle fights, fighting Valutudo, then makes it.
Working their way up.
And he, punches his golden ticket, and then, I don't know, 90% of them end up back to the poverty level that they were before they started fighting, but with significant brain damage.
Yes. yeah, enjoy this. But also, the tricky thing about the UFC, and so people ask me this all the time about UFC fighter pay and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't envy Dana White on this. It's such a tricky road because if you look at like the Conor McGregors and Jon Jones, if you paid these guys, all of them, like boxers, then mixed martial arts is so tough. There might be a few that are still going to compete 3 times a year, but if you give these guys 10 mil in the bank, I'm not sure how often they're going to fight the matchups Dana and the brass want them to fight anymore. Yeah. So you got to leave them hungry, but it's also like they deserve their pay. It's a fine line, dude. Yeah.
I mean, Conor was the best fighter when he was hungry.
Yes.
Literally and figuratively. Like, he was hungry to win, and he was literally poor with not enough food, with his wife that had been riding with him since, like living in the projects.
Yes.
And that was the best Conor. The best Jose Aldo.
Yep.
Was a hungry Jose Aldo.
You go through it. All GSP.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? What's up? I'm at the courthouse right now. Gonna head in. But I don't know what's gonna happen. Of course, the court can do whatever it wants. This is for the TRO thing. And had this thing that I want to read over there. But we'll see how it goes. The day before the TRO incident, I had a great talk with the woman who put the TRO on me. I will refer to them as fake Lorraine and fake GD. In that conversation, we were talking about dropping all of the charges for the TRO and moving forward with the business side and giving me my fair share of the money that I put into my family's companies. I texted GD and let him know that I was going back to my room, being that the hotel cost was expensive. He didn't say no, don't go, and I was under the impression that I could return to the property because we had such a great conversation. I went to take my clothes to the house, and the house sitter that was there called fake Lorraine, and they told me they didn't take the TRO off. So I left the house and continued to speak with Lorraine. Lorraine asked me if I did follow up with my mental health exam assessment, and I told her I did and showed her the doctor's notes, and I didn't qualify for any of the state's mental health programs. While talking to Lorraine by Peacock Apartments, the officers came and arrested me. Both Lorraine and JD told officers that it was a big misunderstanding for me to return to the house and asked the officers to not arrest me. You can use the police body cameras as evidence, as well as them speaking to Lorraine. So, yeah, they knew is why. I was just there to drop off clothes because of a good conversation. But just want to put this up. Never know what could happen when I get in that courtroom.